very special guest. I'm going to let this gentleman introduce himself at this time.
Hey, I'm Coach Ganus. I'm the head coach here at Moody High School.
Coach, I always like to start my interviews with people who may not be familiar with our channel. Take it back in time, where you grew up and what did that look like for you growing up?
Yep, grew up over in Atlanta, Alpharetta. Moved to Chelsea when I was 14. I went to Chelsea High School, played football and basketball there. Ended up going to UAB to play football after that. Played 3 years at UAB, and then when the program shut down in 2014, I was able to transfer to the University of Georgia for my senior year. After Georgia, had a really good year. I had a short stint with the Vikings, and then after that, got straight into coaching.
Coach, when you was growing up, what was some of the the memories and things that led you into your playing days? What got you going playing football? Did you do that from Pee Wee time, or where did that come off?
I was, I'm probably the opposite of the kids now. It's a lot of flag, hold them out. But I played tackle football when I was 4, all the way till I got done with the Vikings. Dad was my youth coach. I was your typical youth coach son. Try to be physical and play, but I just always had a itch to compete was probably my thing, and I felt like football, you get to compete at an individual, one-on-one basis, but at the same time, it's the best team sport in the world, in my opinion, because, all 11 have to be pulling together, and I just figured, I just always fell in love with the game, and I knew I was going to be a coach from a long time, about, probably when I got in high school, I knew I wanted to be a coach, so it's been something that's been my passion, and I love coaching now and helping kids and just being around the game.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
You mentioned playing at UAB with Bill Clark, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir.
What was that like? And I know you had to learn a lot from him. He's one of the best in the game.
Oh, it was awesome. So, it was a complete culture change from my 2 years before him to my 1 year with him in terms of just like, Coach Clark, it's all about, execution of details. If I've heard that word, heard him say it one time, heard him say it 100, details, the little things, it's important. And those are things that carried me not only in my playing career, but now into my coaching career. I'm sitting here in our practice schedule, about mirrors Coach Clark's UAB practice schedule. It's very similar. Everything's laid out. Yesterday morning, we have our first practice today. We went out yesterday morning, 6:30 in the morning. We did a walk-through practice, to walk through, hey, where do I get water? Where do I, go here after this period and all those little things, because our kids don't know and they don't know how I want it run. So it's my job to teach them, my staff's job to teach them how we want to have practice run. And that was actually a Coach Clark thing. I always think it's the craziest thing. We would walk through for walkthrough, and you don't think about it, but at the same time, but now that walkthrough is efficient. And the purpose of that walkthrough is so when you get to full speed in practice, you're able to go and get as many reps as possible and be efficient. And so those are some little things that I picked up on and learned a lot from that 1 year.
It becomes second nature once it becomes routine.
That's right.
Now, take us to when you graduated.
Yep.
All right. What was your first coaching job?
First coaching job was at Thompson. I got hired on in April of 2017. I fiddled around a little bit with free agency, had a few tryouts here and there, a mini camp, and then after that, got on with Coach Freeman at Thompson, coached the 4, and was with them for 5.5 years, 5 total seasons, and been with them, and that's all I know, in terms of just being my own coach and being into that game. So been with Thompson for 5 years.
Very few places in America you can go and learn what you did under a coach like he is.
Yep.
If you could put that into words, what Coach Coach Freeman's meant for you, try to do so. Yeah,
it's tough. Just learning and growing, not only as a coach but as a man. How to handle. I had a daughter going into my second year. She's 4 now, and learning how to juggle home, football, teaching, all those things. He's the best. And then he's also like, what people realize is he's not only one of the best X's and O's coaches there is, in my opinion. I think he can get on a whiteboard and offensively beat anybody. He taught us, like he coached coaches, and he taught us like how to, run our program one day. And it wasn't just him saying, hey, this is what you need to do if you become the head coach of Moody. It was just him being him and me sitting there trying to be a sponge and learn it all. And there's been so many sayings and little things that I've caught myself. And I have 2 assistants come with me from Thompson, but before they got here in the afternoon, I'm sitting there thinking, that's Coach Freeman. Coach Freeman says that. It came out of me. And so the things he's been able to teach me, it's really hard to put into words, but really just formed how, I want to be a coach. Obviously, when you're a head coach, you're going to do things different. You're going to approach things a different way, and there's not necessarily right or wrong, but my foundation was learning from Coach Freeman, and it's been awesome just to kind of see it transpire here and me to take things here. I get this comment a lot from the crowd that doesn't like change as much. This ain't Thompson. Well, and then my response is the same. I'm not trying to make it Thompson. I'm trying to make it the best Moody possible, and the best Moody possible that I know is a lot of the things that we did at Thompson. It worked. We had a 30-something game win streak, number 2, 3 in the nation for a long, long time. Back and then won 3 state championships. I'm still waiting on my third one. They're gonna get it to me, but so this stuff works, and it's deeper than just football. Deeper than X and O's. It's a culture and a standard, and that's the main word that I try to preach is standard. We got to set it, we got to live to it, and we got to play to it.
We were fortunate enough to interview him and learn what type of man he is off the field, godly man.
Yep.
Talk about that. How much you soaked off of him as far as what kind of person he is.
Yeah, I mean he is. I got to play for Coach Mark Rick, and if you've seen anything on TV over 15 years when he was Coach Georgia, Coach Rick was who he was on TV, was who he was when it was one-on-one, and that's how Coach Freeman is. Coach Freeman doesn't just put on a show and a charade for anybody for no reason. I mean he's unapologetically living to advance the kingdom of God. I mean, that's his sole mission. It's not just to win state championships. Now, he's blessed in return because of how much he's doing. He don't go a day without telling those kids something about Jesus. I mean, not a day. We pray at the end of practice, and that's what we do now, Moody. And I'm not saying they didn't before, but, pray every day at Thompson. They pray in their staff meetings. They pray, all the time. And it's a very godly, it's intense. I mean, we want to win, and we're competitors, and every coach on that staff's a competitor, just like every coach on my staff's a competitor. And we want to win, but at the same time, we know our bigger purpose and our bigger goal is to advance the kingdom of God.
You got him on your side. Very few can form against you.
Yeah, that's right.
When did you get that idea in your head, like, okay, it's my time to step away and let me see what I got. Let me see how I can do this on my own.
So I've been that coach. It was really hard to leave Thompson. My setup, not just with Coach Freeman, but with my principal, Dr. Hester, and our superintendent, Wayne Vickers. I mean, it's tough to leave a place like that because, they take such good care of you. They truly value you as a person. They value your family. And I've been wanting to be a head coach forever. I mean, since my first year. I just never entertained it as much. I would say 2 years ago, I entertained one, and then last year, looked at a couple that reached out but never took it any further. And then this year, when I was approached by Moody and got to know a little bit more about the situation, what's going on, I was able to see, hey, this place can be special, like really special. You don't need this or that to win football games. You just need a community that's hungry and that's going to buy into my vision, and that's players are going to live to my standard, and we can get done whatever we want to get done. And I truly believe that.
No doubt. That was my next question. Was like when Moody reached out, what was it about Moody, the vision you seen, maybe some of these other coaches did not see, that made him stick out above all the others?
Yeah,
that probably reached out to you.
Yeah, our principal, Dr. Walters. I mean, he just, when we talked, it was clear cut and dry. I mean, it was like, hey, we're gonna do this, this, and this. We're getting the turf field. We're getting this. We're getting this, and it was like, hey, if you need help with this guy will do it. If you need help with this guy will do it. If you need help with this company will do it. I mean, like I was walking around the field, I was showing you. I mean, all this stuff, this new paint, furniture, all this stuff was my community saying, hey, coach, we got your back. We want to make this place nice possible. Because to me, it's important. I mean, the Bill Clark details, it's important to what our floor looks like. We vacuum every other day in here. Coaches take turns. I mean, it's important to me that we treat our place with respect. And if we do that and our kids do that, we just take a sense of pride, and it just makes everything deeper, and it makes everything more valuable. And that's all we're trying to do is just create value. We want to create value in our weight room. We want to create value in our locker room, in our coach's office, in our meeting rooms, and we want to find ways to make our kids feel valued. And it's important to me that our players know, like, you're not just a Moody football player, average 5'5", we're different. And there's no reason why we can't be special and why we can't run the table and do the things we want to do. I mean, that's up to us and how hard we want to work.
Since you've been here, you've had your hands kind of on the program. Obviously, I could see a change. I could physically see a change. What have you seen from your standpoint? Okay, I didn't know this was happening or going to happen, and okay, this is kind of what I expect.
Right. Just the workouts and the hard work. They were probably in the off season doing maybe one workout a day, a couple days a week, and as soon as I got here, first thing I did was say we're having morning workouts every morning 6:30, and
so you guys work out before school.
We do. That way, 8th period athletics, we can do team stuff. And so before we got into our plays and our installs, we were running, conditioning, speed work, plyos. We were taking advantage of both times, the before school and the after school, and that was different for those kids. I mean, it was tough. I mean, there was weeks in February, March where they were waking up 5 days a week at 6:30, and we threw in mat drills for 8 weeks. We did old school in the gym, 6:30, cut the lights on, roll the mats out, and we did mat drills, and we got after it. And then on Fridays, we did a thing, we called it the 411 protection run. We would meet behind the stadium. We would jog all the way to 411, which is the road that comes in right here and takes you to our school and our stadium, and we would jog back the bus path that the away team's going to take, and then we would go in the bleachers, and we would run bleachers all the way until we couldn't. And every Friday now, when we're tired and I want to pull the team together, I want to point, look at that bleachers and say, hey, you remember that Friday morning? It's February, March, when it was freezing. We were cold, and there's steam coming off our heads on these aluminum bleachers. That's where we're going to pull our strength from when we get to the season. So just the hard work. And then on top of that that's still not enough for me. I want extra. I want extra work every day. And it don't have to be just going outside and running. It needs to be stretching every night, push-ups, sit-ups, film study, playbook study. All of our players, our coaches, me and Coach Jones brought over from Thompson is a checklist. We have a nightly checklist our guys have, and some guys have PB&J, shake. And then, it all starts, the first column, is pray and read your Bible. So there's things that we're trying to do and incorporate, but to me, that standard of not just doing what I need to do while I'm here, but finding time to do it elsewhere is really what I've seen improve the most, and that's what I've harped on the most, because I'm not okay with just doing my workout in the morning, my workout in the afternoon. Well, if my quarterback's here and my receivers don't have to go home, they don't have a different sport or whatever, we need to throw. If it's an O-line, I need to get in the weight room and do some extra band work or whatever it is, but that extra work has been growing, and it's continuing to grow. Last Friday, we had no school for Good Friday, and we had an optional 6:30 workout just because that's what time we normally lift. We had 50-something kids show up out of 95 on a Friday morning at 6:30, and I know it's about half, but I was really encouraged because I promise you my first week, if I'd have done that, I'd have 5, if that. And because I did, we would have stuff like that, and 5, 10 kids would show up. And so that was me seeing our culture and our standard growing, and it's been really fun to see that.
You and I talked earlier this week. You told me the most people who's ever played on a Moody football team was 68.
68.
You just mentioned 95. Even with these February runnings and things like that, what do you attribute that to? That's pretty remarkable.
It's crazy. So when we got to triple digits, we got to 100, and then the helmets started to be given out. We lost a couple, and which is okay because I don't have enough helmets. Literally, still don't have a helmet. I had to go borrow some from Coach Gilmer at Clay, and I'm going to pick up one from Coach Yeager at Mountain Brook tomorrow. I mean, I'm just having to get by because our influx of kids, and the culture is, these kids want to work hard. I don't know if every school can say that, but my kids just want to work, and the harder I made it, the tougher I made those morning workouts, the more kids I had come out of the hallways. And kids just want to feel a part of something sometimes, and even if they're never going to play a snap for me on Friday nights, they still have value to me. Every player or person in our program has value to me. We have 3 student managers already signed up. They're going to help us film, get practice ready, looking for more. And there's different ways and roles to help in this program. And I think that, I don't know, it was the craziest thing because as our numbers grew, I'm trying to, all right, my goal was I'm just going to be real. My goal was 75 because it was 52 when I got here. My goal was 75. You know, I mean, obviously we surpassed that, and then now we're at 95. So, you know, I've ordered a bunch of new helmets. We were able to raise a bunch of money through our community. We raised $20,000 in 10 days to buy new helmets and shoulder pads because we just didn't have any. I mean, we were short, and I'm really thankful for them. And that's not the only thing they've done for me, but it's just been really fun to watch and really just fun to see the energy and the excitement come through in the community. You know, I'm out getting bite to eat or stopping at the grocery store and say, hey, Coach, you know, how's it going? You know, we're so excited. We keep hearing good things, and that makes me happy because it lets me know what I'm doing. You know, I don't look to the outside for validation. I don't try to, you know, search my name on Facebook or Twitter, you know, see if people are talking good or bad about me, but I just try to find a way to, you know, make our community positive and help them out in any way.
All right. So, Coach, I got two more questions for you, and then we can shut it down because I know you got a busy day ahead of you right here, as is every day, probably right here in the spring. The first question is, what are some of the things you got to attack immediately? Some of the things that you know, like, you have got to get under control or taken care of right out of the gate, like right off the bat? You know,
I guess the biggest thing was just making sure these kids are held accountable, and regardless if they're your best player or your worst player, you know, I think that it's important that if I say be 10 minutes early, that we're all 10 minutes early. So, you know, my first or second workout, we had the early workouts, and I had one of my, I won't say his name or position, but one of my best players trots in about a minute late. Right at about a minute, I was looking at my Apple Watch. It's like, nah. And I lose it, and I snap, and I kick him out the weight room. I tell him he can't come back. And I just want to set the precedent that I don't care who you are or what you've done. That's the standard, that we're early and on time. Now, obviously, things happen. Traffic, accidents, you know, not going to put that on us, but like there's road blockage. I don't even say car accident. Whatever. Stuff happens. You oversleep. It's okay. Shoot your coach a text. Coach, I'm on the way, overslept, and get here. And that was another thing, was communication. That's what I probably fought the most. Like, I get it. Stuff happens, but tell me. Don't just make me sit here and think that you could have gotten in a car accident. Where are you? Are you okay? You know, if I'm expecting you to be here, I need to know that you're here. And another thing, when we have a team group meet, if I put a message in there and I have to tag it with like a little heart, because when you like a message in group meet, it's a heart. I need every person in that group meet to like it. Right now, we've got 95 players, 12 coaches, 2 strength coaches. So, I mean, there's a lot of people in there. But I want everybody to like it. That way, you don't show up to 6:30 lift tomorrow, but you like the message. You knew you were supposed to be there, so something went wrong, and now it helps me. And it's just a way that we communicate. It's another form of communication. So I think the biggest thing was just knowing, like, I'm not okay with being late here or doing this here or skipping a single rep here or not liking the message. Like, one workout, we did burpees for 30 minutes. I mean, it was brutal. It was brutal. I mean, it was. I felt afterwards, you know, yeah, I felt bad, but I mean, I told them, like the message. But that they didn't understand, like, how small it was, but how big it was to me at the same time, because their head coach is telling them to do something, and they're just like, no, he's just saying that so he'll get his likes and grouping. I don't know. But anyways, we fixed that because they like the messages now. And, you know, just little things like that. But it's been great. And look, again, my kids are amazing. My parents are awesome, so supportive, and been with me this whole time. And they've found ways to getting their kids up here at 6:30 is tough. And a lot of our kids don't drive. I mean, our biggest classes are our current freshmen and sophomores. They're both sitting at 26 apiece. And so most of them don't drive. You know, some of them sophomores kind of started, but I mean, that's a lot of parents getting their kids here, and we've been able to make it work. I mean, I don't have kids miss. I mean, we don't miss morning workouts, and they do a great job of showing up and being here.
This is painting a broad brush, what I'm about to say here, but if we fast forward to the end of this year, what would you say would be a successful season for you in your terms, in your words? I know it may not be a wins and loss thing.
Yeah.
It's just, if you look, you know, we fast forward and he's like, you know, I think this is a very successful season. What would that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I've pondered it myself. And, you know, if you look at the history of Moody, and, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you can't win at Moody, there's just something, you know. I think they've been to the second round one time and the third round one time. So besides those 2 trips, and I think one was in the 80s and one was Coach Gross in 04, they hadn't even made it the first round except twice in their school history. So, but that's still not good. I'm not here to make it out of the first round. I'm not here to win this county championship a lot of people talk about where you beat the other county teams. That's not why I'm here. I don't want a county championship trophy, nothing. I want to take care of business, and I want to treat every opponent the same, and I want to attack every week the same. And the goal is to go 1-0 10 times. And then you get a brand new season where you got to go 5-0. 1-0 5 times. And that's my goal. I mean, I think there's a lot of high schools, and you look around, and I get it. You know, sometimes you look and you're like, we ain't got a good team, so I can't sell them these. I can't say we're going to win these, you know, because you're just like, but I know my kids have it in me. I know we have the pieces to do it. But see, what's going to separate teams in November is what are they doing right now extra. And that's what I was telling you earlier. I believe it's the extra work. It's the standard. I'm not, my hamstrings aren't flexible. I'm stretching every night for 30 minutes while I'm watching Netflix or doing whatever I'm doing. It's the little things that are going to separate you in November. Yeah, I mean, I know if we take care of business and we play good defense and we protect the ball on offense and make big plays on special teams, we're going to have a chance to win, you know, any game we're in. But if we don't do those things and we don't take care of the details now, then it won't matter. And so I really can't put a term in terms of just wins and losses, but I can tell you we break it down on Blue Map every day. That's the only thing I let my kids break it down on. If you don't talk about it, it's not going to happen.
That's right.
If you talk about, hey, let's get to the playoffs, well, what are you going to do after you make the playoffs?
Yeah.
You know, I just don't believe in that. I'm not a half-empty guy. I'm a 3/4 full guy always, and people that know me know that. I'm a happy, positive optimist. I cannot deal with negativity or pessimism. You know, I just can't do it. I have to be able to think. And if I didn't think Moody could be that way, and I didn't have that vision, and it wasn't aligned with Dr. Walters in our community, really, we're all in a vertical alignment in our vision for this program, then I wouldn't have taken the job. But I truly believe that we can get it done. We just have to keep working and trusting and believing in the process.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate your time. I know, like I said, you're super
Yeah,
slammed today.
no,
So
we
I
get. I
won't hold you
appreciate
any
it.
longer. But yeah, we'll be checking in with you.
Awesome.
I actually moved my operation down towards Birmingham more, so definitely be checking
Awesome.
in with you.
We'd love to have you anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.